Both of us together,
yeah?
3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's how you should start every interview.
Yeah.
Perfect. Show the slap.
I'm not great at introduction, so usually I'll be like, let's do a scene clap together.
Perfect.
Right.
I love it.
Hi, welcome back to Nugget Productions. I'm Eli, I'll be your host today, and with me I've got...
Hey, I'm Rob McCollum, a voice actor from Dallas, Texas, who does Ryder Braun from Attack on Titan, Doflamingo from One Piece, Julius from Black Clover, Jalal from My Hero Academia, Jalal from, I should know the name of the things, from Fairy Tail, Stain from My Hero Academia, and like 300 others. We've been doing this a very long time.
Your first question isn't about any of those roles, but
Perfect.
It's the most interesting role I saw in your thing out there. You're the voice of the Bop-It.
I was the voice of one of the Bop-Its. I cannot claim the original Bop-It, but like the one that's shaped like a boomerang that has either the male or the female voice. That one is me. Although they had us all sound exactly the same. Like you had to try to sound like the original guy. But so yeah, I've been doing this a long time, and of course anything your dad does is not cool, so my kids don't care at all about any of the anime that I've done, but they're like, oh, you should put Bop-It up there, that's the only cool thing you've done. Twist it, flick it.
That's the first thing I know, just twist it, flick
Bop
it,
it.
Bop it, yeah. Actually, the first serious question. How'd you get into voice acting in the first place?
Well, I was an actor first, and that's what everybody says, like, it's hard to become a voice actor. You become an actor and then hope that you kind of luck into it. So I was doing on-camera and improv comedy and commercial stuff, and was doing a lot of voiceover for like Taco Bueno, it's more bueno, and that sort of thing. And then this company started working in North Texas, right around Dallas, called Funimation, that had the rights to Dragon Ball, and that was all anybody knew about anime. It was, oh yeah, there's a show called Dragon Ball, and then some other stuff, but nobody knew what it was. And they needed voices for the English dub, and so it was like anybody can come in. We just need, it's like an assembly line. There was very little care taken. It was just like, gotta get them out. And you'd go in for something they'd call you in for, and then they'd be like, okay, what else? Who's in the building today? Rob's here. Okay, you're also gonna be like man number 4 and that goblin, and you're gonna explode. I need a scream. And just trying to get it out the door because nobody listened to the dub. It was, if you were a fan of the show, you subs, the dub was just there because if you wanted to sell it to Walmart or a big box chain, it had to have an English dub on it. But now people actually pay attention to the English dub. They're become very prevalent, and they have a lot of really good writers and really good directors and take a lot of care. But that was not the way it started in the early days. So mostly I would say I just lucked into it.
Sub or dub?
Well, I love the dub, but largely because I know those people and I want to hear what they do with it. Also, I feel like it's whatever you start with. Like if I watch an episode in Japanese, it doesn't matter how great the dub performances are, it's going to sound wrong because my first brain image slotting into it was the Japanese. But if I start one and then if it's not out yet and I'm trying to get ahead or I watch the Japanese, it feels totally wrong because I got used to hearing Ian Sinclair in that voice or Mike McFarlane in that voice. And so that's just how it slots in. But I will say that the English dubs have come a very long way and kind of have become their own art form now as opposed to just an add-on side thing.
What's your favorite role that you've ever done?
It's hard to say. Reiner from Attack on Titan was the huge gift because that was such a huge show, right? And meant you got to go to Denmark for a con or come to England and do a convention. So the profile of that and that being all over Cartoon Network and being able to go into like the tube station at Piccadilly in London and see a 2-story Attack on Titan poster, like that didn't happen 20 years ago. Anime was not mainstream like that. So that has been probably the most beneficial, and also that was just an incredible role and a character. But there's some I love. There's a show called Psycho-Pass that I really love, and it finally got a movie, and we got to answer a lot of the questions that didn't get answered in season 1, and that felt cool. I got to play a one-eyed teddy bear that said Kuma after every sentence because that was how he proved his alliance to his race. Kuma was after every sentence. Kuma, he would just say the word Kuma. And it's weird that doesn't seem weird after a few times. Like you spend a week in the booth and that's not scary anymore.
You find yourself saying Kuma after every sentence sometimes as well?
For a little while. Not anymore. But back when we were recording that, yeah. Sands of Destruction. Check it out.
Going back to Reiner from Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan recently finished and I'm guessing you're a huge part of the finale. I'm sorry, fake fan, I haven't seen it. No, but
I won't spoil anything.
No, feel free to spoil. I'll put a spoiler warning. Spoiler warning, skip to that time, I don't know, wherever it will be.
Yeah.
Wherever it appears on screen, skip to that time.
If you haven't watched any of Attack on Titan, there's going to be a lot of spoilers. But then there are spoilers all the way along that we don't want to give out. But I will say that the finale, I was super worried just because they had so much to tie up and so much to finish up. And it seemed like they were just building and adding more and adding more and adding more. And then we stopped. And then we had to wait for like 4 months to do the finale. And I didn't want to watch and I hadn't wanted to read because I wanted to, like, whatever emotionally was happening, I wanted it to be the first time when I'm seeing it and recording it. So I was like, man, they got a lot to cover. What if they don't land the plane? What, you know, everybody hated the end of Game of Thrones. Everybody hated, you know, the last episode of Lost, whatever. Like, there's a chance to really fail large. And I think they totally did an amazing job. Like, obviously he had this planned. He knew this ending from the very beginning. There are things you find out later. There's like, oh my God, that was in the first episode. Oh my God, that was in season 2. Oh, that the long thread, all of it pays off, and I think it's really fulfilling. It's epic. It's epic. And got to watch it. Only watched my scenes when I was recording. Didn't watch the rest of it. Wanted to wait till it was mixed and everybody's voices were in. Got to watch the final with Trina Nishimura and Bryce Rappenbrook, Mikasa, and Aaron. So the 3 of us together watching on my phone outside at midnight, like crying, watching this last episode. It was incredible.
Do you think voicing Reiner has changed you as a person? This is like such an emotional role.
Well, you never know that you were going to get that fully rounded a character. Like, that does not exist in anime that often, to get that fully developed and that deep a character. So I think it challenged you as an actor to be like, it doesn't matter what you had today, because you don't know when you're walking into those scenes that are going to be the massive ones that are going to expect a lot of you. You just show up exhausted from too much being out the night before and realize, like, oh, this is a major day. So being prepared and being on your game, I think, has gotten stronger. But also just you realize how many people love this show that you have a responsibility to. Like, oh, we need to all work really hard together. And luckily, Mike McFarlane, the director, is super passionate and knows what he wants and knows what it needs to be. But, like, this is not just a fun side thing. This is a thing that a lot of people care about. We have a responsibility to get it right.
Did you look like an absolute nutter in the booth?
Oh, totally. You look like an idiot, and also I think the directors have to sit there and listen to the screaming all day, so they're losing their mind, and so they're not impressed with it anymore. But luckily, I have a character that was not super screamy. I've been a lot of different characters over the years. That's the thing with the show as long as Dragon Ball. And, you know, back in the day, you could be 5 different characters. And eventually, once you kind of become a main character, they leave you just to that. So once Goten became a teenager and I was teenage Goten, I stayed there. But I've done lots of characters. And again, it's the opposite of Attack on Titan. If Attack on Titan is like indie film realism, subtle, real, genuine characters, Dragon Ball is the absolute other end of that screen. You know, oh, great leader, we are under thee. You know, you can just be as ridiculous as you want, which is kind of fun to not have to take yourself too seriously.
So we just say Dragon Ball's like the most fun one you've ever done then?
Probably. There's a show called Drifters that nobody knows. Check it out. It was it was a really fun show, but weird, and played Oda Nobunaga as a cranky old man who was just kind of losing his mind, and it was really fun. There's a good director makes the process fun, because a lot of times we're in there by ourselves. We don't even hear the other actors in that scene, because if we're the first English to record, we'll watch the Japanese and then record it. If you're the last one in, you can hear everybody else lay it in, but if not, you're by yourself. It's not a communal experience, except with you and the director and the engineer. So if you have a director that's willing to have fun and have a good time, it makes the process fun.
Have you ever recorded in a booth with other people? Has always been just like a solo booth?
Most of the time. There have been some scenes that I've gotten to do, like what we call Walla, when they would do scenes where, like, there's 20 people having a conversation, you'd go in with 5 other people and record it like 8 or 9 times so that they could layer it in, and you can say whatever you want, like, oh, I really like carrots, I should have eaten more carrots, these carrots are really good, whatever. It doesn't matter, because it's just background noise. Those are the only times that you get to really be in the booth together. So a lot of times, like at an anime con like where we are now, is the only time I see some of these other voice actors that I've known for years. But if we don't overlap in the lobby outside of our sessions, we haven't seen each other. So there are times I've done a whole show, like a whole season with someone, and only seen them like 3 years later and go, hey man, you were really good at that. Oh, you were good too.
Do you have like a favorite run-in with one of these people you've worked with, but like remotely?
Well, Ian Sinclair, who's huge in One Piece and done a million roles, but he's a good friend of mine and a brilliant actor in Dallas. And we did corporate video work that he works for me in the company that I make in The Real Job. And I got to bring him over to London for a project to shoot. And so getting to run through the streets of London together with him was probably one of my favorite other voice actor experiences. But we all know each other and we give each other a hard time. And sometimes it's kind and sometimes it's less than kind.
I imagine you guys have like a WhatsApp group chat, name something funny, like just say because you were Doflamingo One Piece against like the Straw Hats featuring the baddies or something.
Yeah, you forget who's what sometimes, and so you'll start talking about a show or character and then forget that the person you're talking to was that character. You're like, oh wait, I'm sorry, I totally forgot that was you.
Speaking of forgetting, I completely forgot you did Doflamingo.
Yes!
So how'd you get into One Piece?
Doflamingo, One Piece, the gift that keeps on giving. One Piece is just the show that never ends. It keeps going and going and going. And that character, I think I tried to look it up. I think it's 18 years ago, the first time I recorded a Doflamingo voice. Had no idea that he was going to be a pirate. We kept going back to and kept going back to and kept going back to, or that he would have his own huge, massive arc in Dressrosa, and that he's, no spoilers, but still in the story. There may be more Doflamingo to come. So just like you do it, and then 2 years later you get another phone call, and then 3 years later you get another phone call, and it's always stayed popular. All the other, like of course, Attack on Titan is huge, and we've done the finale, and we're doing signings for that, and still half the people are like, yeah, but Doflamingo. You know what I mean? It never goes out of style.
Kind of building off of that, do you have a favorite fan interaction?
What's that? A favorite fan interaction?
Yes.
Well, I love people who cosplay as the characters and come in and want to show you the work that they've done, especially when you can go like, oh my God, you just spent 60 hours building this Stain costume from scratch or whatever. So I think that's fun, and that it's exciting for them to see that we are fans also, that we are also nerds that love this stuff, and we're not just, here to profit from it and move on. So that's always exciting to me. Actually, that's probably why I got the character of Julius, who's in Black Clover, because Julius is a huge magic nerd, and even though he's cool and powerful, he geeks out on people's magic. And the director, Chris George, was like, hey, I've seen you nerd out about people's cosplay. That nerd Rob, that's what I want for Julius. You're like, oh my God, look at that magic, that's so cool. He's like, that's Julius, keep that. I was like, okay.
That sounds like such a fun character to play as well.
I love him. And he's got his own pop now. Julius finally has his own pop. I'm very excited.
How many of those have you signed today?
Only a few, because they just came out. Like literally only the people that have ordered them from the US and had them shipped, because they're not even available over here yet. But I signed the first European copy of Julius ever today at the London Anime and Gaming Con.
That sounds like such a blast to be able to nerd out as well.
Oh yeah, and when a pop comes out that's your character, like, oh, that means I'm going to get to sign this for the next 2 years and talk to people about this character and figure out what my favorite quote is and what their favorite quote is and that sort of thing.
Has there ever been a character that you were first really skeptical to start voicing, then you kind of grew to love them over time?
Well, Stain from My Hero Academia, I wasn't skeptical of him, but he just seemed like a minor character when you look at the amount of lines he has, and how much he's in the show, how many episodes he's in the show in the beginning of the arc. Did not have any idea that he was going to be that impactful on the overall arc of the story. How many people were going to love that character, but also how it changes the tone and everything from then. And then, spoilers, but he returns, and I was super excited that Stain comes back. So, okay, you can watch again now.
Yeah, spoiler warning again back there. You'll
Yeah.
probably see the spoiler warning thing. Well, I don't know. I'll figure it out in post.
Yeah.
Post Eli, get the edit done.
Give me to know how much I actually do in the edit room, like seriously.
I believe in you, Post Eli. You're really good at this.
See, someone appreciates my efforts.
You can do it.
Going back. Don't even mention it. I've stuff from last August I haven't done yet. Don't even. Right.
Yes, to those of you watching this in 2026, it was awesome. It was an awesome con here in London.
Going back a bit, have you ever cosplayed any of the characters that you voiced?
I have not. For some reason, that always seems creepy to me, to be dressing up as yourself. I don't know. Even though it's not me, I know there's so much more behind the character than me. But people always ask, like, if you have, who would you, or if you would, who would you do? If I could, I would absolutely dress as Doflamingo, because first of all, that pink coat is amazing. And people also say, like, oh, do you think you'd ever get to audition for the live action if they get around to
That was my
Doflamingo?
next question.
And I'm like, have you seen his abs? There's not enough CGI in the world to make this look like 7'2" Ab King. It's because he laughs so much. When you laugh that much, it is an ab workout. It's a core workout. That's why he looks that way, because he just laughs all the time. He loves his life, loves his job. Live, laugh, love. That's Doflamingo's motto.
Live, laugh, love. Absolutely perfect. Oh my god, this has been a lot of fun. I was going to say quickly. This is like one of the most fun interviews ever.
Yeah, I'm so excited. All right, how do we finish? What's our big finish?
The big finish. If you could go back or forward at any point in your career, where would you go and what would you say to yourself?
What would I say to myself at any point in my career if I could go back and go forward? So in the early days of anime first getting known in the US especially, and anime cons were starting, but they were small and they were in small little colleges and student unions and that sort of thing. And there were a few people like the Chris Sabatts of the world that was like, no, this is a huge thing. This is going to become a cultural force. And I was like, yeah, but I got a real job and I got to go pursue these things and feed my family and do that kind of stuff. And if I had refocused on the anime market and anime conventions 5 years ago, that's what I would have told. And they were telling me, my friends were telling me, like, you got to get into it. But like, I wish I had started doing this, because this is my first UK con.
Well, welcome.
And we're in 2024. And I'm like, oh, that would have been, I would have liked to have gotten in on that earlier.
How are you finding it then?
Yeah, oh, it's great. I love it. I work a lot here in the UK because I work with a production company that does corporate training videos. The Inside Man from Know Before. If you've had to sit through bad IT or even good IT security training in your job, it's possible that I wrote that. And that's the real job. So I love coming over here, and I was already here for this. I was like, can I come do this? They were like, yes, you can come do this.
And that's going to be it for me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff so we can continue interviewing awesome people like my guy over here. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for watching.
That's been ELI. It's been Note Productions. I'm out.
All right, don't cut yet.
Okay.
Because there's one thing I forgot that I have. It's a factoid I haven't said in a while. You can edit it in if you want to.
I'll just leave it at the end. Never mind.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
Yeah. No. So people always ask, like, how many videos have you done? How many characters have you done? How many fun? And back when it was all Funimation, because everything was Funimation that I was doing at that time. Like, what Funimations have you done? And for a while there, I was able to say all of them, because the old Funimation intro logo has a bunch of whispers and the thing blows and it goes, you should be watching. And that was my voice. So I was on the intro to every single one of them. So if you can find that, you should put that at the end of this video. Funimation, you should be watching.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Rehash intro. Let's go.